Welcome to Larry King Live. Miss Palin, thank you for joining us this evening.
It's my pleasure.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. And yourself?
Fantastic. Now, I would like to talk to you about a pressing issue that needs to be addressed: overpopulation in India. How do you feel about that?
Actually, I'm not familiar with the issue. What exactly is going on there? I'm just a hockey mom. I don't know these things.
Oh, I should have known. Well, seeing as you don't know, overpopulation is when there are too many people in a given place. The reason it is so bad in India is because while the population is growing at such an exponential rate, the country is not getting any bigger.
Wow, that is really terrible. Seeing as I don't know any of the history, could you tell me about it?
Sure. First off, the reason it is such a big problem is because of the demographic studies. According to these studies, India's population will surpass that of China by 2030. This would not be so bad if China was not 3 times as large as India.
I gotcha.
The main worry is that living space and resources will run out. Already, lots of people are living in slums, and the water supply of the country is being depleted faster than it can be restored. Humans cannot survive without water. Also, many trees are being cut down to accommodate the growing number of people. The weather patterns are changing because the number of trees is decreasing. The increase of floods and heavy rains is enormous. Do you get me so far?
Definitely. How did India end up in this terrible state?
Well, there are many different reasons. One of the main reasons is that there are so many uneducated people in India. The majority of people in the country live in slums, and they have had no formal education. Because of that, none of them have heard of birth control. For example, the other day I was interviewing Usha Reddy, a population expert in India, about this issue. She said that there are lots of people who haven't heard of the condom. However, such things are no surprise. The people we are talking about are people that live in rundown shanty towns with no proper living conditions. Most of them don't even know how to read or write. Seeing as how people like that are the majority of India's population, we can safely assume that the rapid population growth is mostly because of them.
That is interesting. It seems that you are right. If so many people don't understand about the dangers they face with such a large population, it is hard to see the issue improving anytime soon.
Exactly. It doesn't help that some people just want to have lots of kids. For example, there is a handyman in India named Mohammed Omar. He has 24 children. It is obvious that this man doesn't realize what a financial burden this could impose on him, but according to him, it's actually helping his life. When asked whether or not having more than 20 children bothered him, or was a burden on his family, he responded by saying, "We've not had any problems. All of my children work, and between us, we have enough to feed the family. We've got no debts. We're one big happy family." I personally don't see what the logic is behind that. I mean, he is ruining his children's childhood by making them work just so they won't be in debt. Why have so many children in the first place? The problem is, there are so many people in India who have this point of view. That's just another of the many reasons that the population is growing so much.
Wow, that doesn't sound like very good logic at all. Oh, I was wondering, do social classes have anything to do with the population growth?
Actually, yes they do. The main problem lies with people that work in agriculture and all the poor people. In India, a poor mother counts her breads by the number of children she has. More the children, more is the bread. It seems logical for this mother to think like this, because the family itself is not stable in any way. The only way she knows how to feel is making sure each family member has enough food. This hypothetical mother is uneducated because she is poor. This ties back to how uneducated people are really making this problem worse. Another social class that affects the population is agricultural workers, like small farmers. They have more children because it decreases their costs. They don't want to spend too much money on workers, so having more children saves them money and gets more work done, which, in turn, provides them with an even greater monetary gain.
That's pretty odd. From what you've told me, it seems that it would be hard to improve upon this issue without a government response. Has the government been doing anything to decrease the population, or at least control the growth?
Yes, there has been some response from the government. They have made a few different plans to attempt and control the population. However, India's government is extremely disorganized, so none of these plans have really fallen through. For example, they put together a national health policy, which was meant to change the total fertility rate of the country to 2.1 by the year 2000. However, the government was not committed enough, and they did not take enough steps to ensure the success of the plan. In 2000, the government yet again tried to respond to the issue by creating a national population policy. The goal of this policy was also to reduce the fertility rate. Although it was never stated, it seems like after the government's first plan failed, they tried to recreate it in this plan, in order to try again. Their goal this time around was to reduce the fertility rate of the country to 2.1 by 2010. This goal has not been reached for the exact same reason that it didn't work the first time. The government was just disorganized, and didn't make enough of an effort to try and make it work.
Well, it sure seems like they are making an effort. It's a shame that it hasn't been working, though. I hope the government hasn't given up.
Oh, they haven't. Recently, the government has come up with a plan known as the 8 Plan. It seems that the goal of this plan is to make the population itself aware of the problem and to use birth control through things known as incentives. In the 8 Plan, the population problem is listed as 6th most important to the government. The way the plan works is that the central government divides up the population by specifying the demographic targets of birth control. They take a percentage of people and list those who should undergo contraception. However, since the government is not allowed to force people to use birth control, the government has begun to offer these incentives to promote family planning. The main incentive used is called a community incentive. For example, if a certain community exceeds the guidelines that the 8 Plan proposes, they have priority for road construction, school construction, and construction of drinking water facilities. This is to make the community more aware that, if they use birth control and reduce their fertility rates, they will be able to improve on their own community.
Are any of the people in India taking it upon themselves to try and help with the problem?
Well, there is the M.N. Roa Center, which is based in Mumbai, India. As of now, the leader of this center is Dr. Indumati Parekh, who has been working in Mumbai for over 30 years to improve the health of women and children of the slums. Dr. Parekh mainly focuses on the women and children that have actually realized that contraception is an important part of reducing the growing population of the country.
I'm glad some people actually realize the consequences they face with such a huge population. It's good that they are trying to make a difference. What are some of the effects of this large population on India right now?
Well, as I said before, the loss of trust is not doing much good for the country. Also, because there are so many people, India is losing about 8,000 square miles of land every year. Right now, overpopulation is even affecting the people. If you were to go to Mumbai, India and drive around for a day, you would see countless numbers of homeless men, women, and children. You would also see an abundance of shanty towns, which are collections of slums. These slums comprise mostly of extremely small tin houses. Usually, about 6 or 7 people are crammed into one of these homes. It is actually a very sorrowful sight. Along with this, you might see extremely small children with their rib cages showing. This hints at how starved they are. They would be eating from the street or from garbage cans just to survive. All of this is a result of overpopulation. The fact that there are so many people in the country right now is taking a toll. Presently, there is not enough living space for all the people, causing the majority of Indians to live in the slums. They are forced to live in dirt, without food, water, or medicine. Half of them are bedridden with some sort of disease or another, forced to live like animals. These people even face cruelty from others, just because they are weak, and not as rich or strong as everyone else. Such things could get worse, if the population continues to grow at this rate.
That's very sad. Overpopulation seems to be really bad for the country.
It is. It also is taking a toll on other aspects of the country, like the government putting in a lot of effort into improving the overpopulation, but not succeeding. Also, mortality rates will increase, and resources will become extremely scarce. This will increase crime rates, because people will steal resources, so they can survive. The economy is also going to become worse. With the population growth exceeding the economic growth, it will be tough to uphold a good economy.
Wow. I never knew about all of this. Maybe I will try and help the country out in some way.
Good. Well, anyway, we're actually out of time.
Oh, that's too bad. Although I didn't say much, thanks for having me on the show today.
It was my pleasure. Thanks for tuning in, and see you tomorrow.